Good evening, friends. Just wait for some people to chime in here. Happy fall equinox. How exciting. I mean, kind of exciting. Where is this? Okay. Welcome to our fall party. Let's get it on for fall. I can't believe it's this time already. How insane. Ah, it's getting darker. Kids are going bonkers before bed. My kid hasn't stopped talking in like 2 hours. Hi, Kathy. Yay, I'm excited for this too. Yay, I'm so glad to see some people are showing up. That's so just wonderfully amazing. So please let me know you're here. Just gonna get this together. Let me know you're here. Say hi. Where are you? I'm in my basement in Colchester, Ontario. Where are you at? And it's a very special day. It's the fall equinox. How exciting. It's really important to celebrate the seasons, you know? We have to honor all the different seasons of our life and all the different seasons of the year. Shed some of the old, let in some room for new things. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And hopefully painting will help this. Oh, hi, Tanya. Yay. Cool. I'm also excited for this. Nice fall sign. Does this look backwards to you guys? Or is this forwards, the writing? Can you let me know? Hi, is it Jean or is it Jean? En français. From Alliston, Ontario. That's cool. Hi, Victoria. Yay, I'm excited for this one too. Let's just be honest, fall painting is the best. Lori from LaSalle. It's the best ever. And there's plenty of things coming up. Of course, Amherstburg, gotta represent the burg. Cheers, friends. Okay, it's backwards, thank you. That should be interesting. That should be interesting to teach tonight. I hope you guys can follow along with the backwards words. Didn't really think that one through. Oh well, we'll figure it out, right? Hi, Susan. Cool, all right. You know, sometimes you just gotta roll with it. Backwards words and all the things. So if you're just showing up, please make sure you tell me you're here and say hi and let me know where you're watching from. It's 7:52 right now, so we'll get started in about 8 minutes. All right. Ooh, Deb's got a pina colada. And hi, Sandy. That's great. How's everybody doing? Pretty good? I was just saying to my girlfriend, we have a bunch of kids in the neighborhood here and my daughter loves to hang out with them. And it's just so weird going into fall mode. It's like, it's still so nice and we want to play outside, but it gets dark so early. And it's sad for the kids because they got to go to bed earlier so that they can be up on time for either school or doing all the things again. Summer vacation's officially over right now, as of today, for sure. Hi, Diane from Cornwall. That's cool. And speaking of corn and fall, we took a little mini getaway to Amherstburg the other day, and we stopped at the pumpkin stand and got some pumpkins, and we painted some pumpkins, and I got myself some corn stalks. And it's the first time in my life that I spent actual money on dead corn. Is anybody with me on that one? Anyways, we stuck it on some of the poles in the front of our house and it looks amazing. But I'm like, what has my life become? when you spend money on dead corn. I guess it comes with age. It's just really nice to have those fall vibes out on the porch. You know what I'm saying? Deb says, great, I can now breathe from my surgery tubes. Oh, no. Oh, yay. That's awesome. Thank goodness. Oh, my goodness. I don't know why you had to have the surgery, but I'm happy to hear that you're feeling a lot better. That's awesome, Deb. Hi, Rosalie. Yay, you get to paint with me tonight. I think you said you weren't sure if you're going to show up or not. That's awesome. Yay, Kate's here. Hi, Kate. We're just settling in. We got 6 whole minutes before we get this party started. It looks cool. It does look cool. Oh, deviated septum. Dang. I didn't realize that's something you got surgery for, but I'm very not a doctor. So I avoid the doctor at all costs, actually. I'm one of those people. You have the people who like to go to the doctor and make sure everything's okay. I don't want to know. If I'm feeling okay, just going to keep it that way. Oh, good, Brittany. That's awesome. Okay, I'm glad you got it on your phone. I do this on my phone. That's why it's long. Because I have a brand new iPhone and it has a better camera than any of the cameras that I have in my house. So that's why I use this one. And I use this one to film all my videos and stuff too. But I'm glad you got it to work. Yay! How many times do you think I say yay during these things? I'm honestly that excited. It's not fake. I just really, really love painting with you, friends. And I can see more people popping in, so you better make sure you say hi. You can't just watch and not let me know you're here. So keep me in the loop, y'all. We got 4 minutes to start time. So let me know what you're up to. Yeah, also, question. I'm still trying to figure out my fall October paintings. Deciding which fruit ones are going to be free and which ones are going to be paid and stuff. And we have done 2 sets of pumpkins already. And I'm thinking about doing 1 more pumpkin painting. Are you guys down for another pumpkin, or is that too many pumpkins for you? Let me know. Keep me posted. Oh, another Cornwallian. That's cool. Hey, Teresa. And Helen from Cornwall and Christina Lozon. What is up? Hi, Addie. Yeah. So great to, virtually see your names. I was going to say see you guys, but I can't see you. I can only see myself. Down in the basement. My DH... What is DH? Okay, cool. I'm glad he put it on the iPad. That's cool. Or she. Oh, what? Hannah, you're from Wisconsin? You win for furthest away so far. Yay, you love pumpkins. Oh, cool. I know, it's so fun to paint pumpkins. I have this really cool pumpkin that I do on a black canvas. I'm thinking about doing that one. Maybe 2 more pumpkin paintings. What do you think? What? Halifax? Karen, that's cool. Oh, I know. Good luck with the storm there, man. That is not cool. That residue hurricane action on the East Coast is so harsh all the time. Ooh. Yeah, and I'll have this recording up on my YouTube channel by tomorrow or the next day, sometime, and then you'll have a proper feed. So that'll be okay. Dear husband. Thank you, Heather. I guess you caught the confusion in my face, and I'm like, what is that? From Ottawa. Actually, I don't know if if Wisconsin is further than Ottawa. I'd have to really look at a map. Yes, no problem. Okay, lost your volume. I don't know what to do. I just kind of got to keep rolling. I know that my feed or whatever's getting recorded, sometimes it does get a little bit choppy because I do live in the county, in the country, so we don't have the best internet. Even though every day I pass by, there's some workers out there slow and steadily getting us that fiber optic internet, which I'm super excited about. And you see my excitement? Not even close to the excitement that my husband has for high-speed internet out in the county. Hey, 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 Don Waterman Bosco. Thanks for showing up, friend. All right, good. We got a good group tonight. This is really awesome. I'm super stoked. We got 1 minute left. I got my paints here, so we need some brown and white and red and green, orange, yellow, period. And my mom's watching too. Hi, Mom. Don't forget to say hi if you haven't said hi yet. We're going to start in 1 minute. So at the beginning of this whole thread of stuff, you know what? Maybe I'll post it again. I have recently, I'm just going to let you know about a few things if you haven't already gotten them and don't know about it. Okay, so I just posted a bunch of links. I am giving away a free painting tutorial. So it's a pre-recorded tutorial of a fall painting. So that's another painting that you can work on in the next little while it's still fall. You just go to my website, juliespaintparty.com/free painting. And you just have to sign in with your email and I will shoot you that free tutorial. It's like a proper actual video tutorial. And then many years ago, like I said at the last party too, I wrote and illustrated a children's book and it's called Project Monsters Alphabet Adventure. Now, it's actually officially on Amazon as we speak today. So if you look up Project Monsters Alphabet Adventure, you will find it. But along with the adventure, I am giving away some free coloring pages. And there's just a bunch of creatures that I put together and I like traced them in Illustrator digitally and I never did anything with it. So I figured this is a great time since moms and dads are home with their kids. If you need something cool to color, that's not those same old characters. There are some very odd characters in there. And then there's some normal characters from my book too. So all the characters that I've made have like one big eye and one little eye, kind of like how I look here. And they're really cute. So you can go to juliespaintparty.com/coloring book and put your email in and you'll get sent a whole bunch of free coloring pages. And then if you don't have a printer, you can also buy that book, coloring book on Amazon. And I just put it at cost, what you're getting it for what it would cost me to buy it. So I think it's like $5.50 or something like that. And it's like a 34-page coloring book. It's a nice size. And over the next couple days, you will see that my actual Project Monster book is on Amazon ready to purchase. And then I'm going to teach you guys how to make the characters in the book. So there's actually 28 different characters that I get to teach everybody how to draw. And I think that's all the things. Free things. How fun. Lots of free stuff. Let me just look at my list. Painting, coloring book. Oh yeah. And last but not least, I do have a paid party on Friday. We're continuing the fall action. This is the painting that we're doing. It's nice and colorful and whimsical and a little bit different than the norm. So if you want to do that, just go to my Facebook page under my events and you'll be able to find it. It's on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Said to. Okay, so let's get this party started. I have been informed that the fall in love is backwards. So we'll figure that out. I feel like you should, as long as you kind of get the flow of it, you should be able to kind of catch the drift of how to put it on your canvas. And I'm going to put all the colors we need for the background on right now. So we need brown, red, and white for our background colors to make all those beautiful wood panels. So probably a lot more brown and white than red, but this is what my palette's going to look like to start here. So I got my white and brown and red. All right, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a cheers. Cheers, guys, Cheers to new beginnings. Cheers to shedding the old, letting the old yuckies die off and letting room in for lots of beautiful, wonderful new things to come into our lives. Even during coronavirus, there's a lot that can happen. So let's just stay positive, get through it, and really celebrate the new change of season. So cheers to that. And let's get this fun party started. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the whole background with my big fat Fatty McFatterson brush. 3/4 inch fat brush. Mine's pretty dirty, but that's okay. I don't care, okay? And here we go. So what's going to happen? Oh, it is Saturday. Oh my God. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. Saturday. And I hope that's what it says on the event page too. So cheers to that. The fall painting is on Saturday, guys, not Friday. I think I was just thinking of the last one. My bad. Just how I thought tonight we were going to start painting at 7, but no, it's 8. So let's get this started, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate colors, and we can actually use a little bit of water in the background as we're doing this. So on my palette, I have this like little trifecta of paint going on here. So I just dip my brush in my cup and I make like a little water pool right in the middle here. So I got this like little pool of water that I can feed from, and it just loosens up my paint as we're putting it on. And I'm going to go brown, then white, and then every once in a while I'm going to take a little scoop of red and swoosh it in there. So let's start with some brown. So I'm going to take a nice scoop of brown here. And right at the top, I'm just going to start laying it on. Now, surprisingly enough, I use a lot of white in the background too. It kind of helps get the streakies in. So brown, white, and I'm going from one side of my canvas all the way to the other. And you can see here that my canvas is horizontal today, so I'm going extra long. So it's going to take a little extra stamina to get those arms moving from one side of the canvas all the way to the other. And we're making streaky lines, okay? So a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, and then I just keep going back and forth hundreds and hundreds of times until the colors just find nice streakiness. And the reason I go back and forth from one side of the canvas all the way to the other, back and forth, is so I don't get these like weird little paint stroke marks in there. I just go shh, right over top, get rid of those bad boys. I want to go from one side of the canvas all the way to the other. And you can have fun with it. Some parts might be a little darker, some might be a little lighter. Now, once I get my flow going, and you're getting that arm working and that paint on, and you're getting those streakies going, I can take just a little corner of red, and every once in a while I'll just put it in random spots and just swoosh it in. Now I'm not using a whole lot, just a little bit here and there. And it's nice to have lines, but I don't want there to be really distinct lines of color. So it's really important that our colors are a little bit more sporadic on the canvas. We don't want like white, brown, white, brown. We want there to be little wishes of color coming in from the sides. So every once in a while you can take some brown and kind of wisp it in from the side here. And then maybe halfway across you can wisp some white into the side here, just to kind of keep it at random, and we don't have like a very, nothing's uniform. This is supposed to represent some like old barn board wood from an old barn. So we're just going to keep it really old looking and random grains of wood. So just fill up your whole canvas like that. And if you feel like things are getting a little draggy, it's a little bit hard to put it on there, if it's not filling in all those canvas holes, just dip your cup, dip your paintbrush in your cup, give it a little tap on your palette, lube up that brush a little bit, and just continue to add in that. So the little bit of water on your brush or the little bit of water in your paint, I should say, really fills in those little canvas holes super nicely. And then a little bit of red. And so on and so forth. Just work those arm muscles. All right. Now, I'm going to put this on, and I don't want the paint to be too thick because I really do want it to dry really quick. All right. So I'll get a good layer on there. And actually adding the water to your paintbrush will really, really help your paint dry faster as well. So add the little bit of water in there. Get it nice and grainy. Make sure those paintbrush strokes are nice and sporadic and the colors, see there's this one big white line there. I don't like it. So I'm going to take some brown and I'm going to wisp that brown in there and kind of take that line down a little bit. And that's the beauty of it. You can totally do that at any time. And then every once in a while, just grab a little red. All right. So once the whole canvas is complete, and don't forget, you can always go around the sides of your canvas too to make sure that they're nice and filled in when you're going to go put this in your front entryway of your home. And you don't want to put a frame on it. I'm saying if you don't want to put a frame on it. If you do, that's great. Framing is expensive though. I'm all about quick and easy and cheap. So that's why we use cheap paints. And it's really not about making these $1 million paintings. We're just having fun. Just having fun with it. So once the whole canvas is filled up, I'll give my brush a really, really good rinse. And give it a nice dry off on my napkin. Squish out all that water. And what I like to do is I will start from the top of my canvas and I'm going to move all that paint around so that it dries even faster. All right, so I'm going to start at the top and I'm just going to go back and forth. One side all the way to the other. I'm going to move that paint so that it dries nice and quick. And go back up to all the way up. So once that's there, I just like to take a good look and see if there's maybe some missing spots that I feel like need a little bit of extra loving. Like maybe, you know, I could always take a little bit of extra brown and kind of swoop it in there. And just remember, this is a very grainy board, so it's okay if you get a little bit of that canvas kind of popping through. If you get some spots where the paint kind of starts chipping off the canvas a bit, that's okay with this painting. It's not always okay, but it's definitely okay with this one. All right. So once that's on there, we're going to create our boards, and then we can give our boards a little bit more definition before we put our, or maybe if you need a little extra red too, I'm going to just swipe it a little extra red over here. One of those things, you gotta choose for yourself how you want your boards to look. If you want them to be a little bit more barn boardy red, then toss in that little bit of extra red in there. If not, you can avoid the red altogether. If you're not digging it, all good. So I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move over to my long skinny brush. So get that filled up. I'm going to take a little sip of my drink here. Cheers. And what we're going to do is take that long skinny brush and we're going to define where our boards are going to be. So I do have a little bit of water already on my plate. So I'm just going to take some of the water that's on there and get my brush nice and filled up in my brown. So you can see I'm kind of pushing my brush around, getting it really, really nice and full, taking all that excess water there and filling up my brush with some of that brown paint. And brown, this brown in particular, mine anyways, is a little bit see-through. So adding the water in is going to make it a little bit more transparent, should be the word that I'm using, not see-through, but same deal. So it'll be really nice and liquidy, and it'll go on kind of light onto our canvas, okay? It shouldn't be super duper dark. So I'm filling it up, fill, and then just so that I know that it's not going to drip down my canvas, I just give it a little twist. I pull off some of that excess water. But I have a nice full brush of brown paint here, nice and full. And I'm going to decide where my boards live. So I'm going to have one here. And don't forget, it's really easy when you make swishing noises. So make your swishing noises, okay? I'm going to go shh. Oh, I didn't even make it across. I'm going to hit it from the other side. Now, the best part about doing this in brown is that if you don't like the size of the boards, or it's, none of my boards are straight, so don't expect to have some perfectly straight line. It's all good. But there's definitely room for fix-up-ins. It's really easy to go back over the brown with your, if you go grab your big brush, if you're really not into the size of your boards, you can fix them really, really easily. Okay, so let's do another one. More paint. Keep going. So I'm gonna make, there's gonna be 4 sets of boards here. So one more down here. Oh, that's okay. Like I said, it's old barn. So there's gonna be creaks and cricks in our barn board here. All right. And then I'm going to offset a few board lines to make it look like we have some palette wood in the back of our painting here. So you just have to decide where they go. So I'm going to put one right here. And here. And yeah, I hit one too, Susan. Hi, Lisa from LaSalle. Yay. Hi, Joanna. And I'm going to put one over here. And one more. Right there. So you can see I didn't put them exactly all in the same places. I kind of offset them just a little bit, just to give it a little extra je ne sais quoi. And then these might get covered up, but I'm just going to go for it since we already have brown on our skinny brush. I'm going to make those little nail holes right now. So I'm going to put 2 at the end of each of my boards. And they don't have to be in the exact same places either. They can be a little offset. One can be bigger, smaller, whatever. Make this board a little bit wider there. Yeah, lots of knot holes in these boards. Knot holes. Okay. There we go. I think, and then I'm going to put 2 more right at the end here, like this is the end of the board over here. Ta-da! Look at that. We got some barn board, folks. We're barning hard over here. So we are going to put a little extra texture in our wood as well. We're not just going to leave it right like this. I'm grabbing my flat brush. So, you know what? I'm not sure I've ever said this, But whenever I'm not using a brush, I always instinctively put it into my cup of water. And that's just because when you're switching out brushes, you know, sometimes you use one, then the other, and then if you're putting them down and then you don't use a brush for a long time, if it's in your cup of water, it's safe. Your brush isn't going to get full of paint that just dries up. So I always, if I'm not using a brush, it's in my cup of water. And you know, if I have to give it an extra dry off or an extra rinse later, so be it. At least I know that that paint is not going to dry up and totally ruin my brush. Just a heads up. I don't think I've ever said that. I say it in my classes a lot, but not online, just because I don't see people leaving their brushes out everywhere. I can't see you, so I don't know. Okay. So what I've done is I just gave my big brush a really good rinse and a really good dry on my napkin. I mean, it's still a little damp for being in my cup, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a little bit of brown. And on the edges of my boards, I'm going to start at the edge and I'm going to just swoop in some extra little brown streakies. Just to darken up the edges a little bit. And some can be a little shorter, some can be a little longer. See how I'm doing that there? I'm going to do it all the way down. And it's very little amount. I'm not using a whole lot of paint. I don't want it to be super dark. It's very subtle, but it just really is really nice to have that little extra shade on the back end there. And we're going to do this at all the little crevices as well. By crevice, I mean these board lines here. So right in here, I'm just going to grab my brush and kind of streak in just a little bit. If I have to fix up my lines after, that's okay. I'm not going to get crazy about it. Because, yeah, I'm kind of totally ripping those off right now. That's okay. But these little embellishments at the end really make a big difference. It just gives our boards nice dimension and lots of extra texture. You can see you can just swoop in wherever you want. Add some extra little dry swoops in there. Really rustic up those boards. Really rustic it up. And yeah, I'm just basically ripping off all of these little nail things, so I'm gonna have to fix those up after. But that's okay, at least I know where they live, right? At least they have their place. So the real trick to these little swoop-ins is to not, again, have them be perfect. We don't want them to be perfect. We want them to be up and down and long and short. We want them to have some style, some variety. It's always nice to have a little variety, if you know what I'm saying. I think that's the second time I said that too. I watched We Are the Millers recently. That's why I keep saying that. And if you've seen that movie, let me know. There's like that kid in it. He's like, "No, I'm saying," and he has a tattoo that says "No regrets" and it's spelled wrong. It's a pretty funny movie. Jennifer Aniston. Anyways, so I just take my time, take a little brown at a time, and just swoop it in there. And like I said, I'm gonna have to go over all these lines again. Obviously, I didn't think that through, but that's fine. It only takes a moment. Is that texture enough? Let me look at this thing. And, you know, it's always fun to make noises. Pew, 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 pew. All right. Okay, so once I'm happy with the texture, I'm going to go back in and just give those lines and dots a little extra love in there. So I'm going to grab my brush and just fix them up a little bit. And I was very nonchalant about the whole thing in the first place, so they don't have to be perfectly round. They're like nails from the 1800s. Think about that. That's how old these boards need to be. Hundreds and hundreds of years old. All those old barns you see out in the fields, you know? Old band boards. All right. And the very last step to this process. Oh, I gotta get these guys in here. Shoot. Missed those ones. I think I got all the other ones here. Yeah. So with my long skinny brush, the last thing I'm going to do, so after I put in all the texture, I fix up all my little lines, I'm just going to put a few little extra strokes to make my wood look like it has some even more wood grain in it. So just little tiny brush strokes, just kind of pull, just a few, not a whole lot, where you can actually put those knots in the wood. So I can put a knot right there. Like just very few. I'm not going to put a whole lot. There's going to be some leaves on a lot of these, but it's nice to have those little extra little barn board lines in there. And what I do, I'm just using the very tip of my brush and really, really lightly making little lines. So much that sometimes I even miss. I'm trying to be so light about it that sometimes I even miss my canvas. Light as a feather. And I think that's good. Maybe a couple more in there. It's all about the texture. Texture, texture, texture. The shooshes and the texture. All right. Cool. Ooh, what does Tracy say? Hello, checking in a little late. We'll be able to watch from the beginning when you are done. Yes. Tonight, my dog Coco almost pulled down my canvas. Way to go, Coco. What are you doing, buddy? Is he a big dog? Radio would never do that. He just is way too... just does not care at all. My dog was born... He was a cat born into a dog's body. So he's very aloof about very many situations. He could care less. All right, let me know how those boards are going, friends. I'm just gonna do a quick pop in to say hi and see how it's going. Does your barn board look like wood? Is it working? Oh yes, cheers from Harrow. Hara. Oh, she walked into the tripod. That'll do it. Sneaky puppy. Sneaky puppy Coco. Aw. Yeah, that's a big dog. 60 pounds is, I mean, well, I guess you could consider it a medium dog. That's a pretty big dog. My daughter is 34 pounds and my dog is 10 pounds. So we got light people, light little ones in our family. Oh man. Okay, keep me posted. Let me know how it's going. Give me a thumbs up when you're done your wood, and then we can get to putting some leafies on. Like magic? Oh, yay. Oh, you're painting on a piece of wood. That is perfect, actually. You don't even have to do this part. My wood now looks like wood. That's... Perfect. Yeah, my wall totally blends. It's very, a very chameleon-ish painting here. Oh, that's so funny. My wood now looks like wood. Bravo, friend. Bravo. All right. Well, I'm glad everybody's wood looks like wood. That's great. So, for the leaves, so we're actually going to put them all on the canvas white first. And that just gives us some room for error and allows us to make space, and it will give us a nice solid base on our canvas so that we can color it in with all the beautiful colors later. Woody McWhitterson. All right. Yeah, Ellen, we're painting the painting behind me. That's what we're doing tonight. And it says laugh. Laugh Evolny in your camera because it's backwards. If you didn't catch that. Okay. All right, Woody McWhitterson, the wood is on. The wood is on. The wood is on. Okay. I think I sing that every single time I have a party. Okay, well, just to let you know, there's like a whole lot of different ways you can make maple leaves. And if you're making leaves, they don't have to be maple leaves. They can obviously be whatever kind of leaf that you prefer. We today are going to make maple leaves. And we're going to try and do our best to do that. I'm just going to get some white. So like I said, we're going to put them all on the canvas white first, and then we'll go back and give them a little color later. And I'm going to be using my medium flat brush, my 1/2 inch flat brush for this. And I feel like if for some reason this guy isn't working for you, just move down to your liner brush. That should be fine too. I may do that. I'm going to test this one out first though. So, like I said, I'm going to start with some white. And I'm really going to sharpen my brush. So what I did, I took it and I took my brush and I kind of pinched it with my fingers. I can't do it right now because I already put white on there. But I pinched it to make sure that it was nice and sharp. And I'm also going to sharpen it in my white. So I'm going to pull it back and forth and make sure that I got a nice solid edge on there. So when I look at it from the side, you know, it's got like a pretty straight edge on it. And I'm going to start up in this area next to our first boardish area as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 swoops. One this way, shoop, and one this way, shoop. So that's going to be the start of my maple leaf. And I'm just going to make a few little, so you can see I'm basically using the whole brush to do this. Would a chisel slant? I don't know. I'm not sure, Christina. Now you can wait until a little later if you want. You could just make a straight line down on each side and then make your leaf that way. And then afterwards you can kind of put your little leaf points there, because this is all going to get colored in. I'm kind of just giving you a show right now. But let's start with this. We got one swoop this way, one swoop this way. We can pull down on both sides. And then we're going to have another guy kind of coming out here. So it's going to come down to a point, and then we're going to make another dude coming out here. And this guy's going to have a couple little points on the end here. Shoop, shoop. And he's going to come down around, and we're going to do that on both sides. So this is going to go point up this way, and then we're going to slant up to a point like that. Bring it down. And then the final little bit. So all of our leaves are going to have this top guy, 2 side leaves, and then right underneath there's 2 little, I don't know what, I guess they're points, right? 2 little points, meet, straight across, and meet. So this is going to be the basic shape of our leaf. All right, so from that point, then we can make our little embellishments in there. So as I color this in, and don't color it in too thick. Let's move that paint around. You could even add a little bit of water into your paint just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. We don't want it to go on super duper thick or else our paint's going to be way too thick on here. But this will allow us to make, like I said, those little embellishments. So we can make our little leaf points kind of coming out the sides here. And because we're doing this all in white first, it really gives us a lot of leeway to create the leaves how we want them. Christine, this angular. Yeah, no, it's not on an angle. It's a total flat. It's a straight brush. But when I look at it from the side, I just want it to be thin. So what I mean by thin, I just want it to be, sometimes our bristles can get separated and can get really thick on the top. But when I look at it, see how, I guess it needs to focus on here. When I pinch it, it thins it out and it sharpens it. And that's what I was talking about. And it just allows me to create nice, more defined lines around my leaf. And that's why I was saying as well that it might be better for you to use a liner brush to do this as well, depending on how your medium flat brush looks. So all these little leaves have like little points kind of coming out of them, and they're very subtle. There's not a whole lot going on there, and these are things that, like, you know, all leaves are a little bit different. And like I said, we are going to be coloring this in after, so having the white on first, we can really define what our leaf's shape is going to be. And if anything doesn't look right afterwards, we're going to be coloring it in. So don't really worry about how solid the coloring process is for these. It's going to be all good. So these come out this way, and we can make little, just little extra pokes kind of coming out the side of our leaves. Just a few. We don't want a whole lot. And just have fun with it. I promise it's going to look like a leaf after, even if it doesn't have the same amount of little pokes and prods as mine does. And that's it. So let me know if you have questions about that right now before I continue on to a new one. If you need a little close up for the next one, let me know. Or if this is close enough, that's good too. Just keep me posted, friends. I want everybody to see what's going on. Now, in between leaves, I'm giving my brush a rinse just to get it fresh. When we're using one color for a really long time, sometimes the paint can get all jammed up in the bottom of our brush, and that can also make the bristles at the top start to widen up more. So just giving it a rinse, a good dry off, and then another good pinch just to get started on the next leaf really helps. Okay. Kate would like it to be a little closer. Okie dokie. Let me just shift around a little bit here. So that's what this guy looks like. So we have our two swoops at the top. We can bring our sides down, and then we start to angle out from the sides there. And these guys have those little swoops as well. And then I just took my brush and kind of dragged out some of that white paint on the sides. And like I said, it's not the end all be all. There's definitely room for fix-up-ins after this. All right. So I'll give you one more minute just to kind of get to this point here. And then I'm going to start. I'll do another leaf right in this area so you guys can see up close too. Oh, and I'm looking at my computer and I got brown paint all over it. All over. let me just, I think I can shuffle it down this way. Get in here. Here we go. All right, so our next leaf is gonna come off the bottom of the canvas a little bit, and it's right underneath this guy here. So I'm gonna do that same thing. I'm gonna grab my brush and kind of sharpen it in there. So I'm just taking my brush and filling it up back and forth, pushing that brush so that's nice and tight. And I like to start at the top, so I'm gonna start up here and I'm gonna just swoosh down one way. And just remember, there's like, some of these leaves can be wonky. They're not all gonna be the same, but they all have that same basic shape. So they have that little point on the top and they come down towards the center. And then we shoot off from the sides in the same direction. That little point on the top. And over here too. So this one's gonna come off the side of the canvas here. And reconnect from there. Now at the bottom, there's a little bit of a curve. So this, right down at the bottom with these side leaves here, I'm gonna wrap it around, and then there's this little tiny spoot at the bottom here. So wrap it around and bring it together. And then color it in. So I add a little bit of water to my brush to color it in, just so I can make sure that it's not too thick on there. So a little water in my white paint will loosen it up a lot. It'll help just put a nice light wash in my leaf as a nice primer for the colors that we're going to put into it. Because for colors, especially red, we need a good primer. And don't be afraid to like make pointier leaves. You know, it's just remember, it's your painting, okay? So have fun with the shape of these leaves. All right. Okay. Beow, beow, beow. Little tiny points all over the place. Ta-da! And I'm gonna put the stem on brown later. So I'm not worrying about my stems right now. Okay? Back a little bit. Where am I? Here we go. And we're gonna work on another leaf that's going to kind of poke out the top up here. So I'm actually gonna start with the side one here. I'll bring in the ridge. So this guy up here, I'm gonna pull down from the middle and make the side leaf first, and then the top of the leaf is actually pointing down. So it's a little different perspective. Shall be fun, don't you think? Yeah, super fun. I've also been watching a lot of Frozen lately, and I love that guy in the shack. Woo-hoo. Would you like a sauna? Woo-hoo. Okay, so starting up at the top up here, I'm just gonna pull down And I'm gonna make my first little leafy, just with those little curves there. So down and shoop, shoop. Just make sure that there's a nice little point on it. And then this can be a point up here, and I'm gonna pull back down, put a little curby on this guy. And then this is gonna be the long one in the middle, so. All right, so I'm just bringing in my little leaf points here, but my main curve is gonna be right here. Shoop. And shoop. Shoop, shoop, ba-doop, shoop, ba-doop, shoop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. And one last little point over there. Man, big summer blowout. Yes, Kathy. You know what I am talking about. I'm sure the whole world does. See, I mean, I know Frozen's been out for a very long time, and I was able to avoid it for many, many years, but alas, I have a 4-year-old now, so no, she's all up in it. She knew who Elsa was before she even had even watched the movie. That's how powerful it is. So, and let's be honest, Elsa's just okay. Anna's the best. I definitely am more of an Anna. Okay, so same deal, friends. I just added a tiny little bit of water to my paint. I got a little tiny water in my white just to loosen that bad boy up. It's more of like a washy, watercolory color. Now, I always give it a little dab on my palette because I don't want it to drip down my canvas. But I also don't want it to be super thick on my canvas either, so just beware. And white's really easy to cover up too, so if it does drip, it should be fairly easy to fix. Fairly easy. Depends on how big the drip is. All right, now we're gonna do one last big dude over here. He's gonna take up this whole space over here. And just gonna give you just a minute just to catch up there before we put the big last leaf on. I almost called it a feather. If we're painting feathers, I call them leaves. If we're painting leaves, I call them feathers. My brain is very, very questionable. Very questionable brain. All right, just gonna dip in there a little bit so I get a nice perspective on this. Nice and close up here. Okay. So we're gonna fit our last guy in this area over here. And he might have just a few little extra lumps and bumps, maybe. But just like all of them, I'm going to start at the very tippy top. So I gave my brush a rinse, dried it off my napkin, I pinched it so that's nice and thin. And then I can start the process. So right at the top, this one's going to have a little lean to it. I'm going to lean it over this way. Shh. And then this guy's going to kind of follow along, but he's going to swoop out to the side. So as we kind of get used to making our leaves and the different style leaves, you can have a little bit more fun with it. Be a little bit more adventurous with the shapes of them. You know the basic shape of the leaf now. So, you know, you can throw a curve in there. Maybe your top could be a little bit smaller this time. Maybe it's a little bigger. Just as long as they all fit, you know, relatively on the canvas, you're good to go. You are good to go. Okay, I'm going to start over here. And that's going to be my leaf top this time. Huh? Kind of random. And I'll pull out guy over here. All with those little pointy tips. And I'm going to round it out. And this is going to be that last little guy on the bottom there. But I'm going to hop over to this side now. So I'm going to make this leaf go this way. And then he's going to have his little point here. And all right, give him a little extra, some little extra points on this guy. Round him out, and then finish off with that little bit on the bottom that can come together. Come together. And even if you keep it really, really basic, it's all good. It's gonna look gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Heather says yours are much better than mine, but I've obviously had some practice. I've already made one of these. And I think you'll be surprised once you start to color them in. You're gonna see it's gonna be really pretty. And just remember that we're doing this in white. Doing it in white first really offers us the opportunity to get our proportions right. So after your last leaf is filled in here, just take a look. I mean, and you can always add extra white out on the sides of your white leaves. And that's why we do them white first, not only for a primer, but it's just really nice to know that we have the opportunity to kind of create some more little points or round out some edges. You know, there's lots of room for the good old word fix-uppins. We can fix them up, all the little crevices and whatnots. And there we go. The leaves are on. The leaves are on. Come together right now. Whoa, my leaf. Nice one, Dawn. Come together right now. Hold my leaf. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You know it's the top you got. Grooving up slowly you got. Juju eyeballs. Holy roller, he got hair down to his knees. Got to be a joker if he do what he please. I don't know if those words are right, but it's really fun singing that song. I love, man, classic rock's my jam, friends. Classic rock all day long for me. Actually, that's very not true because Story does not let me listen to classic rock. We listen to all sorts of different movie songs. She really loves the Trolls songs, so we listen to a lot of Trolls, actually. Trolls all day. So just let me know how it's going. Give me a thumbs up-ins if you're feeling good about your leaves, and if not, just give me a thumbs up anyways because it makes me feel good. And let me know that you have completed this section of our painting. Heather, you're into the classic rock too? Well, that just makes me love you even more. So now that I'm done, I'm going to pour the rest of the paints that I have on my palette. We really don't need a whole lot of paints, friends. So I already have red on there. I have my red and brown and white. I'm just going to put a little squirt of yellow. And a little squirt of orange, a very little squirt of orange. You need very, very little bits of this. You can always add more if you need more. So just keep it chill. Keep it chill in the paint department. Aw, that makes me super happy, Hannah. Kindred spirits, my friend. Kindred spirits. I literally sing all day. Every single word has meaning to me in some sort of song form. All day long. All day long. All day. Okay, we got a thumbs up. Thanks, Kathy, for letting me know. Hannah, I'm going to assume your thumbs upper because your leaves are doing really, really good. And yeah, just keep me posted, friends. Give me a few thumbs up if you're good. And we'll continue on. Now we're going to go leaf to leaf, starting at the first one. So just, make sure it's dry. We're going to want it to be dry. It's okay if it's not fully dry because our paints will blend in with it. We just don't want any paint to like peel off of it. Yes, they're going to pop. For sure, Rosalie. This painting is definitely a fixed upper. All right. Oh yeah, he's a bit of a fixer upper. Man, you guys are my peeps. Let me tell you. You are my peeps. Okay. So let's continue on this lovely party that we're having here. Okay, Susan's got the thumbs up. Perfect. Perfect. Now for coloring these guys in, I'm gonna use my medium flat brush, just the same one that we used for the actual leaves themselves. And this is really fun and really cool, and I really want you guys to like embrace the coloring process on this. All right, I'm gonna move in actually towards this guy here. Okay, love it. I love seeing those thumbs up-ins. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start with yellow, and just like anything, as we kind of start to paint, we're gonna add in little bits of color to different areas of our leaves, and all of the colors work together as long as they don't get overly mucky. So as soon as something starts to look too mucky, just make sure you can stop really quick, give your brush a little bit of a rinse, unmuck the muck, and then you can start fresh, okay? So I have my nice clean brush, and like I said, I'm gonna start in my yellow paint and just start coloring in the leaf exactly how it is. So go around those edges. Just fill in those little crevices. And I'm not putting a lot of paint on there, but there's enough for it to stay a little bit wet for a couple minutes so that when I add my other colors in, I can actually blend them in, okay? So I'm just going to start with this little section of my leaf. Yellow is a really good color to start with because it goes good with all of the colors. And then, say I want to add a little bit of orange in. I'll take a little corner of orange and I just kind of tap it in. So you can see with my brush, I'm just bringing that orange up into the yellow, and I'm just going to swoop my brush back and forth. See, the cool part is I used one corner of my brush for the orange, and that's where the dark part is. And as I start to kind of swoop those two colors together, I can use the other side of my brush that doesn't have the orange on it and just the yellow, and that really nicely brings those two colors together. But having the yellow as a base is a really good start. So you can add in yellow at any time, especially if things start to get a little sticky. You'll find that. And I'll take another little corner of orange. And I just brush my brush back and forth, kind of tap and swoop and bring those two colors together. And then I can grab a little red. And I'm just following the same shape as my leaf. And then I'll let that red swoop and fade down into the yellow and orange. And you can see it's like a tap. I'll tap a little paint in and I can swoop it back and forth. And it just, you get these really nice little blends going on there. And honestly, whatever color you want at any time, you just put it in. So down towards the bottom here, I'm gonna take a little corner of green. I can bring a little green into my leaf over here. And it's a little amount. We're not grabbing a whole big gob of green. It's a very tiny little corner so that it's not gonna overtake the whole leaf. And since I just put a fresh coat of yellow on there, that green's gonna fade up into the yellow, and I'm just tapping it in. Just tap it in. Bring that paint home. It wants to go home. Just tap it in. And slowly just color in all these little sections here. And you can do it with all the colors. So towards the bottom, I'm gonna add a little crevice of brown. I'm going to just take a little corner of brown and swoop that in there. And you don't even have to use brown in any of the leaves. I basically put brown in here because I just wanted to show that you can really use any of those autumn colors. Brown's kind of nice because it is the change of seasons and, you know, the leaves start to die off a little bit. So you get those little brown spots sometimes. And then if things get mucky or they're not making the right colors, just give your brush a rinse. And start fresh. So you can see now I'm just taking one little color at a time, but I'm going to say that most of my leaves have a yellow base to them just so that I can have a lot of different colors kind of coming in. And just tap those colors in there. Now, because now that I see this, I can see that, you know, I have a lot of white showing. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my brush. I'm going to, oh, not white, Julie. I wouldn't put white on my brush. Take a little yellow. And I'm going to cruise around and just fill in. I don't really want to see the white. It's okay if you see a little bit, but I can see white all around my leaf. So I'm just going to fix that up a little bit. And no, it doesn't look exactly like the original, but that's how it's supposed to be, right? They're not all supposed to be exactly the same. And that's why I really want you to embrace how the colors are coming out on yours. And you know, that same old thing, if you like red more, put some more red in. If you like more yellow or more orange, go ahead and put those colors in too. But it's a really gentle process, this one. So I'm just really light with my brush, adding in a little bit of color at a time. If you feel like something's missing, like I can always take a little orange and scribble a little orange in up here. And then I just swoop it into the yellow so that it fades out and they fade together. Here we go. And once the leaf is done, I'm going to give my brush a rinse. right. What is Helen saying? Thanks, this has been great. Have to watch the end tomorrow. Morning comes fast. Yes, it does. Looking forward to painting this. Thank you, Julie. No problem, Helen. Thanks for sticking it out till 9. I know it gets a little bit late for sure. It's a tricky time during the weekdays. I know, that's why I thought it was going to start at 7, but then yeah, 8 o'clock I think is just is kind of a good time because a lot of like little kids are in bed by that time. My kid isn't, but actually I think she's in bed now. But yeah, it does get a little late, so I totally feel you on that. I'm an early riser too, so have great sleeps, friend. Great sleeps. Okay, and I can't wait to see your finished product. All right, let's keep moving. I gave my brush a good rinse, and I'm going to start at the top with this one. I'm going to start with orange with this one. Grab a little orange. Color, color, color. I think the hardest part is getting rid of all of these little white marks. Nah, it's not that hard. All good. Ah, that's a good start. Okay, I'm going to grab a little yellow and bring those colors together. So you can see whenever there's a spot where I want the colors to come together, it's just a matter of making tiny little brush strokes. And the more times you stroke the colors together, the more that they're going to blend together. And if one color's too strong or taking over the other color too much, just give your brush a rinse, and you can use just a clean brush to let the colors come together, or add whatever the lighter color paint is, just to help merge those colors together. Because especially when we're just using such a little amount of paint, the amount of paint, the paint can dry up too fast, and then sometimes like for instance, if my orange is already dry, this red's going to take over pretty quick. So if that's the case, I'll just give my brush a good rinse, and just use my clean brush without any paint on it and bring those two colors together, or maybe just grab a little extra orange and add it in there. And you know, it's always fun to do a little scribbling. Scribble those colors in. One little color at a time. And obviously, if you have a reference of the actual picture, you can see what colors I'm using next or whatever, but I really encourage you just to kind of feel out your own leaves. Just let them be yours. Because that's way more fun. It's way more fun to get lost in the colors. I always get lost in the colors. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling the brown, or I'm feeling the red, whatever. It's all a feeling. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when I turn it on. Trolls. Okay. And let's put a little brown in here. And that top orange is already kind of drying up, so I'm gonna put a little bit of brown. And I'm just gonna take a little corner of orange just to kind of swish those colors together. I used to have some little dimension and little crick cracks, little brush strokes in there too. Get super expressive with it. Express yourself. And then get rid of all that white. There. Now I have this clean brush. This looks a little mucky, so I can always take that and just with a clean brush and swoop in a little bit of yellow to bring that muck up. And so on and so forth. Okay, leaf number 2 is complete. Let's move over to the top here. All right, people are losing steam, so I'm just going to keep cruising on. I can see people are starting to hit the sack. So let's just keep this party rolling. I'm hoping to be done by 9:30, so let's do that. All right. I'm gonna paint the top one really red. Just get this nice and red in there. It's gonna be mostly red. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit of orange over on the side over here. So red to start, and then I'm gonna grab some orange. This one's gonna be a little bit different than the other ones. And I'm gonna mix that orange and red together and make a nice little rusty color up here. Ooh, I love the rust. And then just swoop it together. Right in the center. Yeah. So, you can start to think about it now that we have, I meant to mention it earlier, but I didn't. So my painting says fall in love, and we're going to start with the word fall. But if you would prefer to write like that happy fall, y'all, that could totally work as well, depending on what your mood is. If you're not feeling super lovey, you could just write happy fall. Or if you're feeling sad, you could write fall to pieces. Don't write that. I mean, you can, just, you know, I'm trying to be funny. I like when things are more positive. But obviously, I'm just trying to say you don't have to write fall in love. It can be some other fall saying as well. Something that says fall in it. Or nothing at all. Maybe you just want to put more leaves on your canvas. Oh, well, that's nice, Rosalie. It's only 7 there, so you're good to go. Oh, no wonder why. I could understand why it could be hard to make the classes if you're that much more behind than us. That's so cool. I love that you are in New Mexico. Is it warm in New Mexico? Sounds like it would be. All right. Okay, one more. And I'm gonna keep the red trend going over on this side over here. So just get this all colored in. You see, I just kind of slap it in the middle and start coloring away. And then I get a little bit more particular around the edges, obviously, so that I don't go too crazy outside the edges of my leafies. Work it around the edges. Let's just slap a whole bunch of red over here too. Maybe a little over here. Make that whole leaf center. And then I'm gonna use a little orange up in this corner here. All the colors are gonna work, guys, so please don't concern yourself with which is the best colors. Just use what you're getting, use what you're drawn to. And remember, leaves have a lot of texture in them, so it's okay if it's not these perfectly perfect brush strokes. If there's some brush stroke texture in there, that's 100% okay. Pumpkin lumps. Thanks, friend. Hashtag pumpkin lumps. Oh, there's more lumps coming your way, friends. Lots more lumps in your future. The future is lump. She lump, she lump, she lump, she's in my head. Oh, I'm getting lost here. I'm getting lost in my thoughts and my painting, which is perfect. What are you letting go of this season? Any physical objects, any mental blocks that it's going away? What can we let go of to make space for the new things? I'm letting go of a lot of stuff. I need to get rid of, well, I need to go through my daughter's closet and organize all of her clothes and get her some new clothes because she's growing like a weed. And I also need to purge my clothes. Even though I'm one of those people, I wear basically the same thing every day. But it gets old. I think I was looking at old pictures and I was wearing this exact same shirt. I think I've had it for like, I'm going to say 4 years now, which is quite a long time in my book anyways. To have clothing, maybe 5 years I've been wearing this shirt for. This, my spirit plaid is what my friend calls it. I have an array of plaid shirts in my closet, but this particular lumberjack plaid is my spirit plaid. What's your spirit plaid? I just love that red, black, blockiness. You're still on leaf 2. That's okay, Victoria. I know. But once you get one, they're all the same. So just take your time. There is no rush, my friend. I'm always going to go, maybe not always, but a lot of the time, a little faster. Not only does that allow me to give you time to answer questions and stuff, if you have any questions, but I do this a lot. So, and I've done it before. So it's all good. Just take your time. No rushy rush McRusherson. Lumpy McLumperson. Yeah, a little more green in there, I think. Yeah. And I need to get really organized in my house. I'm still working on creating a learning space for Story because she's not going to school this year. So tomorrow we're actually going to our local conservation area, and I'm going to teach her about different trees, and we're going to collect some leaves, and we're going to make some leaf artwork tomorrow. Not this painting, but you remember when you used to collect leaves as a kid and then you put them under the paper and you put the color over top of them and it makes cool designs on the paper? That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Ooh, purple. I like it. Oh, you mended an 8-year-old pair of leggings the other day. Yes. Oh, man, it is hard to let go of a good pair of leggings. Tell me about it. All right, so the fun part of like when things are all dry and good to go, you can always, give them a little cleanup over top. So if there's some areas that look a little more gooky than you want them to, or you feel like need a little bit more pop of color, you can always take a little extra color with that corner of your brush, just take a little corner at a time, and you can clean up some of those edges and maybe make that those colors a little bit more vibrant. There's always room for a little bit more improvement because things don't always happen the first time around. But it's a lot easier to make your colors a lot more vibrant if you let it dry first. So that's a whole thing in itself, the actual patience to let things dry. I have a hard time with that. A little more yellow up here. There's just, there's lots of room to add extra stuff. And the reality is that our word fall is, it's going to be right in this area here. So you'll be able to fix your leaves up at any time. There's going to be a lot of room to fix those up. All right. All right, I'm going to bring it on back. Ooh, look at those fall colors. All right, so fall-y. I love it. Here we go. Perfect. I am going to take a sippy of my drink. Okay. So it's 9:21. And I said I would want to be done by 9:30, but that's probably not going to happen, so that's okay. So the next step that we're going to do, I'm going to take my long skinny brush. I need a little extra brown. And we're going to make our little leaf centers. We're going to put the veins in our leaves, and it's going to be all brown. We're going to give them veins, and we're going to give them shadows. Oh yeah. Still lots of work here, friends. So I have my long skinny brush and I'm going to load it up with brown. I might even just put a dip of water just to kind of loosen that up a little bit. And nice and full here. Now, if you're not done all the leaves, that's totally okay. I feel like as long as you have the first one done, you're good to go. So if you want to take a little break from doing the coloring and you want to follow along with the actual doing this part, you totally can if you want to, or just continue working and do this later. All good, all right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to start down at the bottom, and I'm going to swoop up. So I'm going to make the leaf stem. I couldn't remember what it's got. I'm going to make the stem and the center all at the same time. Actually, I'll bring this up a little bit here. Okay. Okay, so my brush is nice and full. I'm going to start down at the bottom, and I'm going to see, I got a nice start there, and then I get a little lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So I start with a little bit of a push, and as I pull up, I just get a little lighter up, and I swoop off the canvas. And then from there, there's little veins that go up each side of the leaf. So I start inside my stem and I will pull up and I'll make my little veins that need to go towards the center of my leaves. And they can be crinkly and crackly. They don't have to be all perfect or anything. And then each side is going to just have a couple little veinies that poke out. Some can be longer, some can be shorter, but each side's going to have just a couple. And they're very light. Really, really light. Voila, the leaf middle has been made. All right, so let's try this guy down here. He's going to be off the canvas, so I'm going to start down here, and when I reach my leaf, I'm going to get lighter, 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 shunk. And make those little veinies that go up towards the center of those side leafy parts. And nothing is even. There's no, you can put as few or as many little veinies as you want. But when I'm doing this, I just want you to notice, okay, so my brush has paint on it. I have my hand anchored, so I either use my pinky or my hand to make sure I'm stable on my canvas. And I'm just so lightly pressing. I'm just using the very, very tip of my brush. Just like I said before, like sometimes I almost like miss the canvas. I'm pressing so lightly or trying to graze so gently. Sometimes it takes a little practice. And you may want to use an even smaller liner brush for these parts. It's really up to you. Just use a brush that you're comfortable with. Sometimes people have a hard time with the long skinny brush just because it gets away from you a little bit. But that's okay. Just use what you love. All right, and I'm gonna start down at the bottom here. And this guy's gonna have a little curve to it, so I'm gonna push over here and swoop up. And you can almost barely see that. Up and up. All right. And, you know, one thing I do like to do sometimes, I'll take my brush and kind of flatten it out. If I need to make skinny things, as long as, you know, you have to manipulate your brush to make it work for you, all right? Sometimes your brush likes to grab too much paint or isn't, you know, is acting up and not making the lines that you want it to. Well, that means you need to go back, maybe give it a rinse, dry it off, take your fingers and squish it sometimes. Sometimes you just need to flatten it out in your paint. If something's not working, just try and try again. Just figure out what your brush needs to make it work for you. And then one guy up here, he's not going to have a stem, obviously. It's hidden. But he'll have his little veinies. Those little leaf middles. All right. I make a lot of clicking sounds today. I hope that doesn't annoy you. I apologize if it does. Okay. All right, so things are coming along quite nicely, I must say. And since we already have all that brown on our, I'm going to move it in a little closer again. So I'm going to take some of that brown and I'm going to go around the edge of my leaf and make little shadows. So it's not going to be all around some of the edges. It's going to be mostly, I'm going to try and get a shadow on these sides of the leaves. So what I mean by that, anything that's kind of facing down, I'm just going to take my brush and cruise along those sides there. And I'm just still using the brown paint. So anything that looks like it's facing down towards the wood, like it's laying on there, that's where I'll put a little brown line right underneath. Give it that three-dimensional effect. And my paint's getting a little goopy, so just adding a little bit of water into it really helps. Let's see this guy down here. So whatever's kind of facing down at the bottom, so I got this down here that's facing down. And down here. And it can just be like a light stroke. It doesn't have to be super dark or anything like that. And it's kind of nice to not have it on all the sides. It really is, you know, just picking and choosing a few that seem to be facing towards the lower side of the canvas. That's kind of what we're looking for. Let's see here. Think about like when you used to make bubble letters as a kid, what side of the letters, you know, had that extra shadow on it. That's what we're doing. Just cruising along, cruising. Follow those leaves, all right. Here we go. Yeah. And then what about this guy? Right there. There and there and there. And obviously, if you're not at this part yet, I mean, it's optional. You don't have to do this part. But, you know, it's nice to have that little bit of extra detail. You know, details are there to just give it a little more depth of field. But it's not going to make or break the painting. So just do what you're comfortable with. You don't have to do all of the steps all of the time. Now, my leaves are definitely a little bit different shaped in a little bit different places than my original. So this leaf in particular, oh, I'm going to pull it on back just for a second there. So this leaf in particular is a little bit smaller than the original. So my other one came out to about here a little bit. Now that just means that I need to assess for my words, and you're gonna have to assess your own painting for your own words. They don't have to be totally centered. You could put fall in love up at the top. It could be up the center this way. However you want to do it is going to be perfectly fine, okay? So I'll give you guys a few seconds here. We're losing a few friends, but we are almost done. So like I said, figure out what you want to write. And I'll just give you the lowdown. So whenever I'm making any kind of letters, I love using my long skinny brush. That's totally my jam. But I don't expect my brush to do everything exactly like a pen does. So there's a lot of times where I'll be like mid-stroke and I kind of have to stop, because if I were to continue going, I would flick it off the canvas and it wouldn't make the right lines or the right curves that I want. So just remember, you have to work within the perimeters of what your brush is allowing you to do and what your hand's actually allowing you to do. Because it's not like you can just go on there and write it like you have a pen, unless you have a paint pen. And then you are golden, my friend. Just use a paint pen. That always works well too. But I really love my long brush for any kind of writing. I just feel like it works the best. And my white's been sitting there for a while, so I'm just going to put a drop or two of water. And sometimes our water gets mucky, but honestly, it really doesn't affect the quality on the canvas so much. And I'm going to get my brush loaded up. So it's nice to have it a little bit liquidy, even if you have to kind of go over it again. There's a really, it's a balance. We want it to be a little more liquidy than the paint, but we don't want it to be super watery so that it doesn't really show up on the canvas very well. There's a in-between phase where it's still painty, but it's just a little more loose than if I were to just take the straight paint without adding water into it. You can see I'm loading it up, so I'm pulling my brush back and forth, getting it nice and filled up, manipulating my brush so that it's the right size and has a nice amount of paint on it. Might need to twist it or push it or pull it or sharpen it. But you can see I do that like 100 times before I actually get started. All right. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to follow this line in my canvas here. So this middle board is where my letters are going to lay upon. So that's a really good indicator. And then you have to decide if they're going to be bigger than the board or smaller than the board. And this particular one, I'm keeping all of my letters within the same size, even a little bit smaller than the top of the board. So we're sticking between the bottom of this line and maybe 3/4 of the way up. So it's nice to have those little indicators just to remember to not go crazy. Pull in here a little bit my stool to get a little closer. Okay. And I'm also going to pull my thing a little closer so you get a nice view. So my line's actually going to start inside my leaf, and I'm going to pull up and around and start with my F. We're going to bomb this F here, okay? So, that's going to be my first line. Start up in the leaf, go all the way down, up, right along that line, and start to cruise up with my line. Now, my brush isn't going to allow me to make a fell swoop loop there, so I actually start over on the other side and bring my brush down, and only the F has this little circle at the bottom that's going to go underneath of my line. So this actually should have been a little bit wider. So I'm going to bring that out a little bit there. And it's okay because I can just color this in. If it needs to be a little bit wider, so be it. But I just move my hand so that it continues to be comfortable. And I'm taking my time. There's no rush. You do not have to do this quickly. It's all in just trying to keep it steady. So I'm using my finger as an anchor up here. And then I can come around and connect. Here we go. And this is going to have a little boop. Now I'm going to write this out just how it looks in cursive writing. One little step at a time. All right, so let's come back around. I'm gonna come up and make my A. And I just bring my brush until I feel uncomfortable. So I know that I can't go much further than that. One little loop at a time. Then I'll start to make, just keep working it out as well as I can. Oh, right, we're reversing. I can see the reverse now. Okay, well, it is in reverse, and I apologize for that. I wonder, could I do... Here, you know what I'm going to do? Let's see if I can switch it up here. No, look at that. What a genius. Let's just do this, and that makes it so much easier. All right. All right, so I started in my leaf. I pulled up until I couldn't go any further. I continued down and into my into my bottom there. Now, if your paintbrush starts to get a little bit too full, just give it a rinse and start fresh. So my paintbrush is getting a little gicky, so I can start fresh. I just grab a little extra water, start filling up my paintbrush again, and keep the process going. So I've cruised up and over. Now I'm going to make my A. And just like following the lines in kindergarten class, you know, we're just trying to keep it on that line there. Now, going around this way can be a little difficult. So I do start on this side of my L, and I'm going to keep it in alignment with the top of my F. And I'm actually going to bring it down to the left-hand side first. And then I feel so much more comfortable connecting that little circle and down. It just, sometimes you gotta start with what's most comfortable. Oh, well, this should help anyways, as far as this is concerned. And I guess your leaves might be on the other side. All good, all good. But it might help, hopefully. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to start with the top, and I'm going to go down towards the left first. And finish it off this way. At the top a little bit. And then I'm going to extend my L. Bing. Fall a y'all. Looks a little different than the original, but that's okay. And you know, that's, you can see I'm just kind of fixing up some lines. If you need a little bit of fix-up-ins, all good. You need a little bit of a fixer-upper. Just cruise around and make it work. And making the shooping noises always helps too. Shoop, shoop. All right. So you have two choices. You could put happy up in this area here, and you could put y'all. Actually, I think I might do that. So I'm just going to bring the original in for a second here. So you'll see you can put in love down here with a little swoopy underneath if you want. You can really, there's so many different things you can do. But I want a different variation, so I am going to put happy fall y'all in there. You have an extra loop on your last L. What? You double looped it? Maybe it could be a capital L? Maybe? So, I think I'm going to put my happy... You just pick a spot. Don't double guess, or don't second guess. Just pick a spot. And I'm going to be really... Just going to be regular... capital letters. Happy fall, y'all. Man, there was probably about 10 years ago, I just started saying y'all just for the fun of it, as kind of like a joke. And it totally stuck. I still say y'all all the time. And I'm not from the South, but it's just such an easy word that rolls out. Oh, happy fall, y'all. And yeah, I mean, you can make a little skaboodle. Like that. Make one up here. Should I make one up here? I'm going to just do it. And c'est tout, mes amis. So you can, obviously, at any time, go back in, fix up your leaves. You could add more leaves over in some of the areas there. I was totally not reversing. Oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. I 100% forgot that we were in reverse. My bad. At least it's white paint, so you can totally swoop. If anything goes wrong, just swoop the white and brown together in the background of the wood here, and you should be fine. It'll be fine. I'm so sorry. Oh. Okay, good. Oh man, Heather, you're so funny. Too late, you're reversing. Well, like I said, it's just white, and if you catch it in time with a little bit of water, you can swoop it into the background and with a little bit of brown and just maybe fix up your lines and then go back in and write your fall, y'all. Oh, you know what, Heather? I totally feel you. I'm definitely losing it right now too. So soak it in for 2 more seconds, and I'm gonna put you back on reverse there for a sec so I can say bye. Last thing you got to do, if you want it, you just put a little signature down here. I always think it's fun to put little signatures like along the sides of objects. So like you could put a little signature down on one of the leaves, maybe just a little initial or something for this one might be good. And I really can't wait to see all of your beautiful masterpieces, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this whole time. You made it. You're awesome. So if you made it to the end, bravo, mes amis, bravo. I sincerely appreciate your presence here so much. And just remember, we have a party on Saturday if you want to come. Just check my events. Grab your free coloring pages, or go to Amazon and grab the Curious Creatures Creative Coloring book. What else? Oh, and Project Monster. So it's a really fun adventure, and I really hope you guys grab it. And I'm going to be posting links over the next couple days, and with party ideas so that we can color some creatures together, me and the kids. Anyways, I know you can fix it, Heather. And thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody, so much for showing up. I can't thank you enough. Excuse me. You are truly the best. And happy fall, y'all. I will catch you hopefully very, very soon. Keep your eyes out. The October schedule should be up in no time. All right, friends. I love you. Bye.